What's up, everyone? My name is Michael DeLu. All right, and I want to thank you for even clicking on this episode of my podcast. Before I get to the episode, I would just like to ask that if you aren't already subscribed to my channel, hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video, comment on the video because it helps me tremendously in obtaining my long-term goals. All right, enjoy the episode.
Let's go! All right, I'm hella excited, and I'm just going to jump right into it, all right? So today is Monday, June 28th, 2021, and this is episode 65 of Pull Up the Tape, all right? Episode 65, all right? So let's just jump right into it. So the first thing I want to talk about today is the round of 16 matchup that happened within the Euros yesterday. Belgium beat Portugal 1-0, and where I want to start off today is by I just want to throw this out there. For Portugal, I honestly saw this coming. Like this, them struggling yesterday in the first half. I mean, I feel like it was a tale of two halves. The first half, they were close to a fucking atrocious. And the second half, I feel like they should have banged in at least 2 goals and got the W. But unfortunately, it didn't happen. They struggled to win against Hungary. If I want to go back into their performance in the group stage, they struggled to win against Hungary. They got smashed and beaten by Germany like they fucking stole something. And then in France, they couldn't score. Against France, they couldn't score in open play at all whatsoever. That shit was horrific. That was just a terrible performance. And the thing about that is it's so surprising because Portugal actually, like, I feel like this Portugal team was much better than the one they took to the Euros in 2016. Diego Jota, Bruno Fernandes, they have better players. Joao Felix, Renato Sanchez, they have better players. I just simply don't understand exactly what went wrong, but I mean, hey, it is what it is. So again, one of the things I want to emphasize is how, like, the first half, Portugal was just like very, very bad, like extremely, extremely bad. Like it doesn't really make sense why they played so terrible. Like I outside of like one chance that they created, everything else was just stagnant. They weren't moving the ball. They weren't creating shots. They weren't pressing. They weren't, like, Thibaut Courtois wasn't really called into action. Like, he didn't have to make too many incredible saves. And honestly, it wasn't really the sexiest half that they played at the tournament all around. And then, but props to Portugal because they turned it around. And in the second half, they actually played pretty good. And I genuinely felt like they deserved at least 1 or 2 goals. Like, in my honest opinion, I don't think Belgium should have won yesterday's game. But I mean, that's what good teams do. They win ugly games and they win games where they're not supposed to win because that's just what separates a good team from a bad team. But to jump back into Portugal's performance, you know, that's just honestly the way sports work and just life. And, you know, you can earn something and you could deserve something, but you just don't get it. It just is what it is. You can go to that interview. You can interview your heart out. You can be one of the best candidates, but you probably don't get it because somebody that interviewed as well, just like you, uncle is the best employee at the company, and that person's going to get hired instead of you. And it's no shade to you. It's no fault to you. Sometimes that is just how life works. That's just how sports works, and it is what it is. So in the first half, like I said, Portugal played trash. Belgium had one great chance. And well, I wouldn't even say it was a great chance. Torgan Hazard, you know, anytime if a Hazard scores and he's wearing the Belgian jersey, you would think it was Eden, but honestly, Eden was like nowhere to be found. Torgan takes a great shot. I mean, it was just a wonderful shot. When I watched it go in, I actually like stunned that shit went in. Like, it was just a great shot. But I will say, the keeper was not on his P's and Q's, was not on his toes, was not in the right position, and was not on his lines. And it just was – it changed the whole momentum of the game. It changed everything in the game. And I kind of felt like right after that, Belgium decided to, you know, park the bus and, you know, play a little bit more conservative, X, Y, and Z, which I don't blame them. It is what it is. You guys are up, so do whatever it takes to get the W. And they withstood all the pressure that Portugal gave them in the second half. Credit to Belgium's backline. They played their hearts out. They played incredible. All 4 of those individuals that played in the backline played great. Thibaut Courtois played great. And one thing, like as I was saying, one of Portugal's chances hit the post inches away from going into extra time. So it is what it is. I'm not surprised. One thing I will say is Kevin De Bruyne did not have a good game at all. Eden Hazard grew into the game as it went on, but he didn't have a good game as well. Lukaku was whatever's, and Torgan Hazard was by far the Belgian side's best player, and it's not even close. Again, salute to the Belgian backline. But it's crazy because as I'm recording this, I just got a notification that it looks like Eden Hazard is likely done for the tournament. I think in like the 7th minute or something like that, he had the ball and he passed it up front. And I heard the announcers talk about it. They said, "Oh, he just grabbed his hamstring or something like that." And from what this article is saying right now, it is Thibaut Courtois, this fucking snake. He says that unless a miracle happens, it's looking like Eden's not going to be able to recover in time to play against Italy on Friday. So he's likely done for the tournament. And it's a little crazy because I don't know. He's suffered so many. Like, I think this is probably his like 4th or 5th hamstring injury since he left Chelsea. Like, man. And also it's a little I don't know where to put it because Kevin De Bruyne also might be iffy. I'm not too sure if he'll play because his ankle might be iffy after a horrible, tackle that he received from Paulinho, which in my opinion deserved a red card. He played on it, and then early in the second half he was removed out, and I'm not too sure. Like, Belgium is now down 2 of their best players, and these are not just any players. Like, I want Kevin De Bruyne is a top 5 player in the world, and Eden Hazard, when healthy, is probably a top 10 player in the world. So that's going to be a massive hit to their starting 11. Massive hit to their starting 11. And I don't know if they're going to be able to beat Italy. If they do, I honestly would be shocked. If they don't, I mean, I'm not going to be surprised because as I said, I don't expect them to beat Italy without those 2 individuals in the starting 11. But hey, it is what it is. So I want to get into the next matchup. The Bucks defeated the Hawks 113-102. And might I say, great game. It was a very good game. Great back and forth. And another thing, I was just talking about this in the last segment when I was talking about Belgium. Trae Young's ankle. I hope that isn't going to be a lingering thing, but I think it is. I mean, I for the most part, people can't just shake off ankle injuries during a playoff series, during the regular season to begin with, let alone the playoff series. That is going to hamper him, and it's going to be a detriment to the Hawks offense and the Hawks as a team. So the Hawks season is on the line tomorrow. If they're able to win the game, I mean, I honestly don't even see the Hawks winning the series, but it is what it is. But if Trae Young isn't 100%, they are not winning tomorrow's game. And I don't see Trae Young being 100%, so I'm kind of ready to put the nail in the Hawks season. Chris Middleton had 38 points, 11 rebounds, and 7 assists. This nigga flirted with a triple-double, was like, "Hey, what's up? What's up? You looking good." The triple-double's the bitch. He like, "Hey, what's up?" Spitting game at the bitch like, "What's the deal? Come through. Come through after the club. Come through." All right, so yeah, 15 of 26 from the field, 6 of 12 from 3. And one of the things I want to point out and emphasize, man, is Chris Middleton, when he decides to show up, he is a dog. But the thing is, Chris Middleton doesn't show up every single game. I wouldn't say it's hit or miss, but there are times when Chris Middleton doesn't show up. I seen an interesting stat yesterday. It said 40% is the threshold or the criteria or whatever. When Chris Middleton shoots above 40% from the field, the Bucks in the playoffs are 9-0. That's 9 games. When Chris Middleton shoots under 40%, the Bucks are 1-4. That's 5 games versus 9. So you can see it's 5 versus 9. It's almost that's more than half. That's more than half. So half the time. So he shows up 60% of the time. Out of 15. He shows up 60% of the time, 30% of the time he doesn't. My math isn't too hot, too sexy. It is what it is. But credit to him because, again, I've always said, I said this in the last round, if Chris Middleton and Giannis both go for 30, I like the Bucks' chances winning any game against anybody. Okay, I like the Bucks' chances winning any game against anybody, and I'm not surprised they were able to win yesterday because I honestly think they're the best team. They are the best team remaining in the playoffs. I think they're better than the Suns. I think they're better than the Clippers. I know for a fact they're better than the Hawks, and the rest of this series is going to show it. Giannis Antetokounmpo, 33 points, 11 rebounds, 13 of 21 from the field, 1 of 2 from 3. Bobby Portis played the best game of his season or the playoffs. He had 15 points and 4 rebounds and 7 of 12 from the field. And one of the things I want to say, I give credit to where credit is due. Giannis played incredible. Chris Middleton played incredible. There was a stretch where he had like 18 straight points or something absurd like that. Giannis is Chris Middleton is stepping into the role of the closer. Giannis does his damage in the first 3 quarters, and he said it himself. When Chris asked for the ball in the fourth quarter, I'm going to give him the ball. So it seems like Giannis understands he's the best player on the team, but in the fourth quarter, when you need a lights out performance and somebody to shoot the lights out the ball and put the game out of reach, Chris Middleton is that guy when he decides to show up. So credit to the Bucks. They played incredible. They played lights out. The Bucks made key stops. I mean, I wouldn't say the Bucks made key stops. The Bucks did have defensive stops, but also it helps when your team is when the team you're playing against is taking horrible ass shots, and that's one of the main reasons why the Hawks lost. Their shot selection was horrific. When it mattered the most, their shot selection was horrific. Okay, the Bucks have lost two in a row, and it's safe to say, there's no panic in the Bucks because obviously they've been in this situation. They were in this situation last round against the Sixers. But Trey, Nate McMillan, Kevin Huerter, these are not the fucking Sixers. There's no Ben Simmons on their roster. There's no nigga like Tobias Harris who shows up when he wants to. Their best player isn't playing with a fucking fucked up knee. This is not that team. So if the Bucks don't win, I honestly don't want to be one of those pundits that says the fucking obvious. If the Bucks don't win if the Hawks don't win on Tuesday, series is over. They're not coming back down. They're not coming back from being down 3-1, especially not against. They haven't had to do that shit all season, and they're not going to do that against one of the best teams in the NBA. That's not happening. Well-coached team, defensive, not happening. I don't see it happening. So again, one of the biggest things that I feel like the reason that the Hawks lost is they got too trigger happy from 3, and they got a lot of bad possessions in the second. First of all, in the second quarter, they had a lot of bad possessions. In the fourth quarter, they had a lot of bad possessions. Again, the second quarter, they could have built on their lead if they took better shots and had better offensive possessions, but they didn't. And they went into the half, and they went into the half only up 1, lead gone. The Hawks started incredible. They were up 15 at one point in the first quarter. But as we've all seen in playoff games, a 15-point lead, a 20-point lead, a 25-point lead is fucking nothing. That's nothing. That might as well be a 3-point lead the way the NBA is set up now. So we all know that's nothing. But regardless of that, the game was close heading down in the stretch of the fourth quarter. But once again, the Hawks past shot selection kept trigger happy from 3, live by the 3, die by the 3. All of them had to take blame in that, including Trae Young. Trae Young took some bad shots. As good of a player as he is, and he is the best player on the Hawks, he took some bad shots. Trae Young took bad shots yesterday's game. And I'm not going to say he's the reason they lost, but that is part of the reason. So let me get into the box score. Trae Young had 35 points, 4 assists, 12 of 23 from the field, 6 of 14 from 3. And I want to be the first to say Trae Young is handling the ball way too much. Way too much. Way too much. I think Nate McMillan used to utilize Lou Williams a little bit more. I know he's a defensive liability, but Trae shouldn't have the ball in his hands as much as he does. They should be able to, again, 4 assists. Trae had 4 assists. His average is 10, 11. That's six or seven opportunities that he didn't create for his teammates. That's points that John Collins left on the board, Kevin Huerter left on the board, Clay Capella left on the board. Trae Young should, if the Hawks are going to win anything, Trae Young needs to average his normal 30 and 10. He has to. Even though he's not, he has to play like the best player on the court. He has to shoot efficiently, and he has to get his teammates involved. 4 assists is not going to cut it. The 35 points is smooth, but the 4 assists, not fucking cutting it. And I can honestly say that's part of the fact that he did miss some time during the game, but it is what it is because of the ankle injury. So I can't really harper too much on that. But definitely that played a part in why the Hawks weren't able to get the W. Danilo Gallinari, again, Mr. Consistent, 18 points, 4 rebounds, 7 of 14 from the field, 2 of 3 from 3. John Collins, 13 points, 8 rebounds, 6 of 8 from the field. And, man, another thing. Nate McMillan. This guy does not have it right now, man. Look, Bogdanovich or I'm sorry, I don't know who's who. Bogdanovich. Stop giving him minutes. This dude is obviously not healthy. He obviously cannot play at a high level. Stop giving him minutes, bro. This dude went 3 of 16 from the field and had 8 points. 3 of 16 from the field and had 8 points. That's a playoff piece shit. Stop. Nate McMillan. He's obviously not healthy. Stop giving him minutes. Nigga, 8 points? 8 points? And I'm not even going to kill him because I understand he is not at 100%. But if I understand that, I'm not going to play somebody in pivotal minutes of a playoff game if they cannot give 100%. It's just that simple. Like this doesn't even make sense. He's a shell of himself. He is a shell of himself. He is not the player he was last round or in the first round. Get him off the court. It's not because he's playing. He is not healthy. Next, Chauncey Billups is hired as the head coach for the Portland Trailblazers. Okay. He lands his first head coaching job. For those of you guys who don't know where he was at before this, he's actively an assistant for the Clippers, and their season will be ending tonight. I can't wait. Oh my God! Once the Clippers, I'm finna fry the fuck out of the San Bernardino Clippers. I'm about to fry the fuck out of the Palmdale Clippers. Palmdale, what up? Palmdale, what up? Oh nigga, stop playing with me. So he's been an assistant for the Clippers for the past season. And again, like I said, their season will be ending tonight. Chauncey Billups played 17 NBA seasons. 5 times he was an All-Star. And in 2004, the Detroit Pistons defeated the Los Angeles Lakers in, I think it was 5 games. It might have been, I can't remember if it was 5 or 6. And Chauncey was the NBA Finals MVP that year. This hire doesn't really come as a surprise, considering the history that Chauncey has with the person who hired him. Chauncey has some history with Neil O'Shea because Chauncey's last stop in his career was with the Clippers and Chris Paul's first season. And he played a lot. Him and Chris Paul were the starting backcourt for the Clippers in the 2011-2012 season, and they played pretty good together, to be honest. And Neil O'Shea was the one who gave Chauncey the call and asked Chauncey to come down and see if he'd be interested in signing the Clippers and see if he'd be interested in turning things around. And that's Chauncey Billups was part of the Lob City era at the first year. And Chauncey wanted to retire, but obviously everything worked out. Chauncey came, they made the playoffs. I mean, I wouldn't say they worked out. It's not like they won a championship. So this doesn't come as a surprise that a couple years down the line, Neil O'Shea hires him to be the head coach for the team he's managing right now. And one of the things I will say is, like, I love point guards as head coaches. Point guards are usually the have the highest basketball IQ on the court. So I mean, them becoming head coach usually translates pretty well. So, I don't know. Let's think of some of the head coaches in the NBA right now that were point guards. Ty Lue was a point guard. Steve Kerr was a point guard. Scott Brooks was a point guard. I mean, he's not an NBA coach right now, but Mark Jackson was a point guard. Yeah, I mean, some of them, a lot of point guards make good head coaches. I mean, like you said, point guard has to be a floor general, an extension of the coach on the floor. I mean, it only makes sense to hire those type of individuals when you want to have a coach, whatever. So the contract and how it works is a 4-year contract with the 5th year being, no, it's a 5-year contract. 4 years are locked in, and the 5th year is a team option. And one thing I want to point out about Chauncey that really surprised me and impressed me is Ty Lue has personally groomed and coached Chauncey Billups into this role, and he personally took it upon himself to help cultivate Chauncey to the point where he could even be considered for a role like this. During the pandemic in 2020, for 4 months, several hours of the day, they essentially lived together in Colorado, where Chauncey's from, and for several hours of the day, Ty Lue would essentially teach Chauncey what it's like to be a head coach in the NBA. Like they would walk through certain situations, scenarios, situational basketball adjustments, scouting reports, all types of different things. And who better to learn from from the only person to come down from a 3-1 deficit in the NBA Finals and beat statistically the greatest team assembled in the history of basketball, in the history of the NBA. History of basketball will obviously be the Dream Team, but history of NBA, it's obviously the 2015-2016 Warriors. So salute to Chauncey. I'm always ecstatic to see more black coaches getting hired. And it's crazy now it just shows you how old I'm getting because there's gonna be some kids who probably don't even remember seeing Chauncey Billups play, but I vividly remember Chauncey Billups when I was a kid playing for the Detroit Pistons. I remember him in the Eastern Conference Finals against 2 years in a row against the Miami Heat in 2003 and 2004 and I believe 2005 if I'm not no. What year did Shaq leave? Okay, in 2004. They played the Miami Heat, and in 2005 they played the Miami Heat as well. So I remember Chauncey playing, and it's crazy to see him like all these different guys that I've seen growing up playing are stepping into leadership roles in front offices and coaching and stuff like that. So salute to them. It just shows that the guards are changing. I mean, obviously, the guards are changing, but it is what it is. That concludes this episode of PullUpDaTape. This is episode 65. Tomorrow's episode is 66. Just want to thank everybody for supporting me, rocking with me. Continue to support me. Continue to keep fucking with me, man. I love the growth. I love everybody who's tapping and commenting and supporting. Viral. Rest in peace, Viral. Rest in peace, Pop Smoke. Whoa. I'm out of here. Y'all enjoy the rest of your day.